Lebanon used to be a prosperous country, but the currency crisis was brought on by poor management on the part of the government and central bank. 80% of the current population is poor or near poor. While Lebanon only has a population of around 5 million people, it appears that the country served as a canary in the coal mine, warning of impending problems in much larger countries. There are more than 109 million people living in Egypt, making it the most populous Arab country. The median age of its growing population is only 24 years old. In theory, as the younger generation enters the workforce, the economy should expand at a rapid rate due to the favorable demographic situation. The Great Pyramids of Giza are, without a doubt, a must-see for any traveler. Hello and welcome to Financial Fortune, the channel that provides you with the latest updates and insights on the world of finance. In today's video, we'll be discussing how to understand Egypt's hyperinflation crisis. The Egyptian economy has been facing a severe inflation crisis in recent years, and we'll be exploring the causes and potential solutions to this problem. The country's economy has been collapsing for the past year despite these benefits. The Egyptian pound has lost more than half its value against the US dollar since March of 2022. Food price increases of over 60% in the past 12 months contribute significantly to the current inflation rate, which exceeds 30%. As a result of these price hikes, millions of people have fallen into poverty. The country's foreign currency reserves are rapidly depleting, and the debt burden is crushing its economy. Because of how bad things have gotten, the government has had to borrow billions of dollars from the International Monetary Fund and their wealthy Gulf neighbors just to keep the economy afloat. Egypt isn't the only country experiencing economic difficulties. In this video, we'll explore the reasons for its currency crisis and the effects it's having on the country's 109 million residents. Recent bank bailouts in the United States have prompted billionaire hedge fund manager Ken Griffin to declare that capitalism is in crisis. Egypt's economy. Hosni Mubarak ruled Egypt as president from 1981 until his resignation in 2011. Mubarak stayed in power through a series of phony elections in which he was usually the only candidate, and easily won with over 90% of the vote each time. Egypt's economy grew rapidly during Mubarak's rule, fueled by discoveries of oil and natural gas and a surge in tourism to the country's iconic pyramids and the Nile River. The Mubarak regime was notoriously corrupt, despite the general economic growth. The majority of the population was forced to live in abject poverty while a small elite group reaped the benefits of economic growth. Mass protests sparked by income disparity and political repression led to Mubarak's ouster in 2011. After Mubarak was overthrown, Egypt voted in Mohamed Morsi as president. Polarization within Egypt and international concern resulted from the new reforms that Morsi and his conservative Muslim Brotherhood Party passed, making him the de facto dictator. Protesters called for Morsi's ouster once again in 2013, just 2 years after the previous dictator had been toppled. The coup was orchestrated by the military, and Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, a former general and defense minister, is now the country's president. Before 2016, the Egyptian pound had a consistent value relative to the US dollar. Holding a fixed exchange rate has many benefits, including encouraging foreign investment in trade and eliminating foreign exchange risk. Foreign investors became fearful after the country experienced 2 popular uprisings in the span of 2 years. The central bank had no choice but to abandon the peg and let the value of the pound fall by nearly 60% when it ran out of foreign currency. It's worth noting that Egypt has consistently run huge trade deficits. The gap between imports and exports has been at least $20 billion annually since 2014. The increasing number of people living in the country is largely responsible for this trend. Because most of Egypt is inhospitable to farming, the country's ability to feed its rapidly expanding population is severely constrained. Desert. The continued existence of a trade deficit implies that imports are not free. Egypt needed alternative sources of foreign currency generation. They have 2 primary avenues by which they can acquire foreign exchange. To begin, Egypt's large tourism industry annually brings in billions of dollars from foreigners who must exchange their money for Egyptian pounds to buy goods and services. Second, many Egyptians left their country to find work in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, two of the wealthiest countries in the region, where they were employed primarily in the construction and energy industries. They helped the Egyptian economy by sending money home to their families. Consumers were harmed by Egypt's 60% currency depreciation in 2016, which effectively doubled the price of imports overnight. It did, however, make Egyptian exports of oil and gas more competitive and made vacations to Egypt 60% cheaper for foreign tourists. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but it was necessary to help the tourism industry bounce back. President Sisi, a former general, has the full support of the military despite widespread criticism of his authoritarian tendencies. His chances of a similar downfall to his two immediate forebears are consequently slim. As a result of the country's improved political climate, previously hesitant foreign investors have begun pouring money back into the economy. Most investors were understandably hesitant to purchase local currency bonds in 2016 after its massive depreciation that year. The tumbling. Egypt mandated the use of letters of credit as the sole method of payment for imports in February 2022. When an importer uses a letter of credit, it is not making a direct cash payment to the exporter. Instead, they put money into a special bank account known as an escrow. In return, the bank will provide the exporter with a letter of credit. The bank will release funds to the exporter from the escrow account upon receipt of the goods. In international trade, letters of credit are commonly used to reduce the possibility of non-payment on the part of the importer. However, it is extremely rare for a government to require letters of credit as payment for all imports. A letter of credit application can take a lot of time and effort, and it's not guaranteed to be approved. For startups and SMBs, the costs may be too high to justify the effort. Many stores couldn't import goods because of this. Luxury items like imported clothing or automobiles became nearly impossible to purchase, while food and other necessities remained unaffected. The policy's stated objective is to improve Egypt's trade balance by decreasing the country's imports. This policy, however, completely backfired, as Egyptian manufacturers were unable to secure imported component parts, leading to a drop in exports. The government began relaxing the import restriction rules in the summer, and by December, they had been eliminated entirely. Unfortunately, it was too late to prevent further losses, so they devalued the currency several times, until it was worth only half as much by the end of the year. Large and persistent trade deficits are the primary cause of economic distress in Egypt. Currency inflows from tourism and remittances allow them to get away with this occasionally, but it puts them in a precarious position. State-owned enterprises, SOEs, are a major contributor to Egypt's lack of trade competitiveness. Businesses with a military connection have long been accused of inefficiency, with some claiming that they survive only because of special treatment from the government. Egypt's chronic trade deficits can be traced back to the prevalence of these inefficient enterprises, which render Egyptian industry uncompetitive on the global stage. Egypt needs money badly, but Egypt's more prosperous Arabian neighbors, such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, have surpluses of cash they want to invest. With Egypt's privatization drive underway, the Saudis and the Emiratis can snap up Egyptian businesses at bargain basement prices. That's all we have for you guys today. This video is over. Consider Egypt's currency crisis. What do you think? Can we expect things to improve once state-owned businesses are privatized? Leave a comment and let us know what you think. It is a complex problem that requires a comprehensive solution from all stakeholders involved. We hope this video has helped shed some light on the causes and potential solutions to this crisis. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more content on finance and investing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.